Okay, back 24 hours later. So hopefully the mic is working. I was having difficulty setting up everything this morning. Not major difficulty, but enough to be like, man, this ain't cool. So before we begin, I want to read a quick quote and connect it to yoga. And the quote is from Pema Chodron. And supposedly, it's her quote, most likely it is. And it's from Start Where You Are, A Guide to Compassionate Living. And this is the quote that she states in the book, or supposedly states in the book. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's the truth of the quote. True compassion does not come from wanting to help out those less fortunate than ourselves, but from realizing our kinship with all beings. Realizing our kinship with all beings. That kinship is yoga. Capital K, kinship, is yoga. And that's what we're going to focus on today. That oneness that we all share, which is yoga. The oneness is yoga. That kinship is yoga. That we all have in common. All beings. So, doesn't matter if it's animal, compassion. Doesn't matter if it's someone else of another religion, compassion. And then why we have that compassion is because we realize we are one, which is yoga. We realize capital K, kinship. So a Christian and a Muslim has that oneness, that kinship, that humanity. And it's not about whether a Christian and Muslim and they talk to each other and it's, hey, we have this in common and this in common. Nope. Not just that. It's the differences too. Because when you learn why someone has the difference, not the difference itself, but why, then you're getting to the depth of not the belief, but the why. And then below that, talking about the depth here, is the reasoning, which is they have the reason, whatever it may be. And then below that is kinship that connects us. In other words, if that Christian was in the place of that Muslim person, they may have that same belief, whatever it may be. And that Muslim may have the same belief as a Christian. But the one thing that links everyone together and everything together is the realization that there's oneness. That's all there is oneness, according to yoga philosophy. And the oneness doesn't mean it's just one blob, boom. Oneness means everything is connected as one. So there is individual things, but they all connect as one. And that's what we're going to focus on today. Kinship. Not compassion. Compassion is part of kinship, but we're going deeper than compassion. The kinship, capital K, which is yoga. And we do that on the yoga mat because we learn that through the poses. When we become one with a pose. When we let go of judgment so we can accept ourselves in a pose. All these things are teaching us how to realize that oneness when we're off the yoga mat. It's all beginning on the yoga mat. So every little thing we do on the yoga mat has a benefit off the yoga mat. And allows us to live a life in oneness. So let's go ahead and begin. Feet are shoulder width apart. Toes go up. You're going to spread the toes. I feel like my mat's crooked, but it's not. Spread the toes as wide as you can. Then each toe touches the floor one at a time. Knees are bent. Hips are tilted. Arms are relaxed. So no tension in the arms or the shoulders or the neck. And then just find that spot where the skeleton just stands as if you were just your skeleton and nothing else. So you lengthen up. So lengthen up the skeleton and then let the bones sit on top of each other. Find that spot where the skeleton stands. It may wobble back and forth just slightly. It may move a little bit. And just go with the movement. Don't fight against the movement. Fighting is not yoga. It's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. We're learning to accept, and we're learning that stability is in flexibility. Stability is in going with the flow. So going with the flow that we're learning here is when the body wobbles a little bit, you go with it. That's where true stability is. And just focus on the breathing. Now to focus on the breathing, you're going to bring your focus to the belly. As you inhale, the belly swells with air, and it pushes the belly out. And then when you exhale, the belly goes in. So the belly goes in. Just watch that. Or you bring your focus to the tip of the nose and watch the air go in and out. Don't control it, just watch it. Now bring the palms together, thumbs to the heart center, and push the arms out, up and back. Inhale slowly. It's the first stretch, so you go nice and easy. And then exhale. As you exhale, you hinge forward from the lower back. We're going to go right into the ragdoll, just like we always do, or usually always do. And the arms are dangling, the head is dangling, so no tension in the arms or the neck. If you feel tension in the lower back, just tell it to release. And just relax into the poses throughout the yoga routine. So in the ragdoll, you're not pulling yourself down, not pushing yourself down. You're just accepting. And that acceptance allows the pose to become one. And then you take that mindset off the yoga mat. You have acceptance in the everyday life that you're living. And palms to the calves, elbows into the sides of the legs. You're going to arch the back, raise the head. Inhale, inhale as much as you can. And then exhale. As you exhale, you pull yourself in and down. Foreheads go to the knees. Get all the air out. And again, arch the back, raise the head. Inhale. And then exhale, pull yourself in and down. Get all the air out. And we're just going to do one more. Arch the back, raise the head. Inhale. Inhale as much as you can. And then exhale, pull yourself in and down. Get forehead to the knees or towards the knees. Get all the air out. Once all the air is out, hold your pose and then just release. And just breathe. And focus on the breathing. Now you are pulling in and you're pulling down. The forehead's going to the knees. But once you're in, you're settled, you accept, and you just focus on the breathing. So once you become one with the pose, it's almost like you're not pulling yourself in and down. You're accepting. So if you're pulling yourself in too much, you're shaking a little bit, you're going a little bit too far. So don't go that far. Release a little bit so you can become one. I can't speak this morning. My mind is jumbled. Then palms to the sides of the feet. Left leg is back. You're going to go into a low lunge. With a low lunge, stop the foot to the floor in the back, knees to the floor, hips are square, pushing forward diagonally. Back is arching, head is up. And just focus on the breathing. Now make sure the front knee is not over the toes and you feel lengthened and opened. Now, if you're to your fingertips, that's fine. If you're up a little bit, that's fine too. You're accepting. Once you accept, boom, you tap into openness. So even if you're down like this, because you have an injury in your lower back, just say for example, you accept. This is a pose. This is where you are. You accept it, and then you can feel opened. The pose does not dictate whether you feel open or not. It's a mindset. It's a very important mindset because you're learning to feel open, even if you have an injury, even if the pose is enclosed. Let go of all that. That's all judgment. Once you get rid of that, you tap into openness. You tap into the kinship. Boom. And then you get off the yoga mat, and then you see everything as one. You see another person who thinks different than you as one. You know, they think this is hot. And that makes you realize, hey, this is why I think it's cold. Opposites. In other words, if hot didn't exist, cold wouldn't exist. So everyone works together. That's the oneness. That's the kinship. Capital K. When I say kinship, I think of a capital K. Now you're going to go into a high lunge. We're going to stay in a high lunge today. Usually we don't, but we're going to stay in it. So toes curl under the back, knee goes up, and it's as straight as you can get it. Back here is straight or arched. So if it's straight, you're reaching out. If it's arched, you're doing a scoop. Believe it or not, I'm scooping. I can see myself. I know it looks like my back is straight. Actually, it looks like it's over, down a little bit. But actually, I'm arching. I'm accepting. I don't care how it looks. I'm doing the best I can. I accept it. Boom. Tap into openness. Tap into oneness. Tap into yoga. And just focus on the breathing. Thinking of nothing else but of the breathing. Now you're going to go into downward dog. Go nice and easy in the downward dog. So you bring yourself up and then you push back. Arms are straight. Legs are straight. Tailbones to the ceiling. Heels are towards the floor. No tension in the neck so the head dangles. And you are pushing yourself into this pose. But you're only pushing to the spot right before you feel like, you know what? I can't go any further. You find that spot, settle, accept, and just focus on the breathing. Now, anytime you feel like, you know what, I need to bring myself out of it a little bit, bring yourself out of it. That is yoga. You're learning to listen to yourself. If you feel like, you know what, I can go into it a little bit more, then go into it a little bit more. Flexibility, adjusting, accepting, moving forward, bring yourself back out of it. All part of yoga. You're adjusting. Capital A, adjusting. That is yoga. Learning how to move. Let go of judgment. It doesn't matter. As long as your mind and body is connecting, you're doing yoga. Then you slide into the upper dog. You drop down to the knees and the chest. It's a strength transition. So you slide up. Tops of the feet are to the floor. Palms, of course, are to the floor. And that's the that's the upward dog. Now, if you need to modify it, you go down to the belly. Palms are touching the floor, but you're not using them. You're not pushing up. You're pulling up with the back muscles. So pull up. Or just modify the upward dog. And just do the best you can. Accept. And just focus on the breathing. Now you can even do the cow here. You arch the back. Hands and knees, cow. Curl the toes under if you like. Or just do the best you can. Accept where you are and focus on the breathing. Then back to downward dog, pushing into it. Arms are straight. Legs are straight. Tailbones to the ceiling. Heels are towards the floor. No tension in the neck, so the head dangles. And you are pushing into the pose. But you're only pushing to the spot right before you feel like, you know what? I shouldn't go any further. Find that spot, settle, and just focus on the breathing. If you feel like you need to go a little bit more, go a little bit more. If you feel like you shouldn't, then don't. Don't listen to me. Listen to yourself. And then left foot is up between the hands into a low lunge. With the low lunge, top of the foot to the floor, knees to the floor. Hips are square, pushing forward diagonally, back is arching, head is up. And you're pulling. So if the knee is over the toes, lengthen up some. And feel open. Again, if you're to your fingertips, that's fine. If you're up like that, that's fine. And just feel open. Think of nothing else. Put up the breathing. And when you focus on the breathing, that heightens your awareness. It'll let you know what's happening in the body. So you may feel it in your quad. You may feel it in your knee. You may feel it in your shoulder. But you're aware of those things. You're not focused on them. You're aware of them. You're focusing on the breathing. And here what you're learning is to not let the so-called issues, like a hurt knee, become who you are. So when you're off the yoga mat, negative situation happens in your life. That negative situation doesn't become you. That's what you're learning right on the yoga mat. You're learning that by not letting your so-called injuries become who you are. Define who you are. Like, oh man, my knee hurts. My. You're accepting all these negative things. Nope, you get rid of that on the yoga mat. You don't think like that on the yoga mat. So when you're off the yoga mat, you don't think like that. Now, high lunge, curl the toes under the back, get the knees straight as you can. Front knee's not over the toes, you lengthen up. Back is straight or arched. If the back is straight, you're reaching out. You're elongating the back or you're arching the back. Now, I'm definitely arching. I have like a big curve on my back. Can't get rid of it. That's just who I am. Doesn't matter. Boom, I accept it. Once you accept, pow, you pop into openness, and then you're in yoga. Accept who you are. Be true, be you. That's the sign behind me. Used to say, be true, be you, that is yoga. But the lady that did the sign said, hey, that's too long. I said, okay. Makes sense. You're going to go to the standing forward bend. So nice and easy. You're in a stretch. So you want to bring yourself out of the stretch a little bit before you just move into the standing forward bend. Get there how you have to. Pull yourself in and down. Forehead's going to the knees. You're just focusing on the breathing. I get lazy in this one. I don't pull myself in all the way because when I talk, it knocks the wind out of me. That's one reason I get lazy. The other reason is because sometimes I just get lazy. I'm a lazy person sometimes. Sometimes I'm not. Depends what activity I'm doing. Palms together. Reach out, up and back. Inhale. Turn the palms out. Push the air down and out. Exhale. One more sun salutation. Inhale. And then exhale. Hinge forward. Reaching out. Back is straight or straight as you can get it. Palms to the calves. Elbows into the sides of the legs. Pull yourself in and down. Forehead is going to the knees. Get all the air out. Once all the air leaves, you just release and watch yourself breathe. Pulling yourself in and down. but then you're settling, accepting, and just focusing on the breathing. Left leg is back into a low lunge. Low lunge, you're opening up. Remember to feel opened. The body does not dictate whether you feel open or not. It's a mindset. So you let go of judgment, let go of control, let go of trying to be somewhere, let go of all those barriers between the mind and the body. And once all those barriers leave, the mind and body will connect, and they connect as one. They're no longer separate. There's no longer a mind and body, they're one. That taps into oneness, capital O, oneness of all existence, everything that exists. You're going to go to high lunge, curl the toes under, knee goes up. Stay here just a little bit longer than we usually do. Get the back leg as straight as you can. Back is arching or straight. If it's straight, you're reaching out. If it's arching, you're arching as much as you can. And settle, focus on the breathing, just accept. And then downward dog, pushing into it. Really, really push into it now. Get the arms straight, legs are straight. Tailbones to the ceiling, heels are towards the floor. You are pushing into the pose. No tension in the neck, so the head dangles. And just focus on the breathing. And then you'll slide into the upper dog, drop down to the knees and the chest. You slide up, tops of the feet are to the floor. Of course, the palms are to the floor. Modify the pose how you have to. Feeling open, no matter how you're doing it, whether you're doing the cow or the small cobra, wherever you are, just accept that the mind and body become one. And back to downward dog, pushing into it. Really, really, really push into it now. Last downward dog. Wherever you are, if you feel like you should, push yourself a little bit more. If you feel like you shouldn't, then don't. Don't listen to me. You're learning to listen to yourself. We're just doing yoga together. I'm just throwing out suggestions. Take what you want. Think about it and say, hey, nope. Or hey, you're right. Maybe I should. It's a guide. And then left foot is up between the hands into a low lunge. Feeling open, 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 open. Tap into openness, which is oneness, which is yoga, which is the kinship that we all have in common with all living beings. Just like the quote I was saying in the beginning. Now with the back foot, curl the toes under, knee goes up, high lunge, just longer than we usually do. Get the leg as straight as you can. Back is straight or arched. And just feel the pose. Focusing on the breathing that heightens your awareness and lets you feel what's going on in the body. Which lets you know what's going on around you. Even off the yoga mat. If you feel something over there move, sometimes I have a bug fly by. I'm aware of it. I'm not focused on it. I'm going to let it distract me. Then, standing forward bend. Pull yourself in and down. Forehead going towards the knees. When you get music, that's where my mind just went. So I stopped doing yoga for a second. I thought, man, I need some music. Palms together. Reach out, up and back, inhale. And then turn the palms out, push it down and out, exhale. And back in mountain pose. Remember, mountain pose, feet are shoulder width apart. Toes go up, spread the toes as wide as you can. Each toe touches the floor one at a time. Knees are bent, hips are tilted. Arms are relaxed, so tension in the arms or the shoulders or the neck. Lengthen up and find where the skeleton just stands. The bones sit on top of each other. And just focus 100% on the breathing. That's all you're thinking about is the breathing. You're watching yourself breathe. So remember, you're already breathing automatically. So you're just watching it. Don't control it, just watch it. And what will happen sometimes is you'll start to control it, and when you realize you're controlling your breathing, just let go. Don't worry about it, just let go, and just continue to watch it. And then what will happen many times is you'll start to think about other things, and when you realize, hey, I'm thinking about other things, I'm not even watching myself breathe. Don't judge it, it's natural. Just let go and watch yourself breathe. Then it'll happen again and again and again. And then eventually, you'll just watch yourself breathe. And you'll realize, hey, I'm not in my thoughts. I'm the thing that's watching my thoughts. So we're just going to stay here a little bit longer. So just watch yourself breathe. Bring the palms together. Namaste. That's it. That is number 211 YouTube Live Yoga Routine. I don't even know if I said that in the beginning. If I didn't, it's 211. I'm going to 365. So whatever that is, math-wise. Let's think about that math-wise. So that would be 154 left, I think. If I did that math right. I don't know. I think it's 154 because 365, that means there's 165 left, 155, 154. Yeah, I think so. Could be wrong though. Usually wrong, especially when it comes to math. So I will see you tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. Arizona time, Mountain Standard Time. So namaste, peace and love.